What's up, guys? It's Amala.
It's Risa.
And what are we doing today, Risa?
We are reacting to male dating coaches in the manosphere.
Okay. And you've compiled these from Instagram and stuff?
I have. I found all these from Instagram. Most of these guys have at least 10,000 followers, and they make reels giving dating advice to men.
Okay, I'm excited for this. I feel like some of these are like probably going to be awful. Some may be great.
Yeah, some are awful, some are great. Some I think we can pick apart that some of it's good advice, but maybe not to the extreme or the aggressiveness that they discuss it.
Okay, so maybe at the very least we can give our female perspective on the male advice.
Yes, and maybe we'll do one where I found a lot of male dating coaches,
okay.
So maybe their perspective is going to be a little different, but these are all the men.
All right, so let's start off with video number 1. Do this to get her to chase you. Okay, let's hear it.
Do this to get her to chase you. Number 1, don't be too over-available. What I mean by not be over-available is you don't sit there and text her back instantly when she texts you. Every time she decides to say, let's link up, you are not running to her with open arms, saying, I'm free right now. What we gonna do? Let's get up. No. What you gonna do is let her crave your attention. One of the most valuable things that women want is your time and attention, next to your money. But not for real though. You don't want to sit there and be over-available for her. Let her miss you a little bit. Let her wonder, why this guy never available to see me? That way she gonna enjoy the time more that y'all spend together. Number 2, every time she argue with you, you just laugh it off. As a man, you is not ready to sit there and go back and forth with your girl. Especially because we know women love to argue. You just gonna have a strong frame and say, okay. And keep it pushing. Give it no type of energy whatsoever. Especially if it serves no purpose. Like, cause at that point, you really just wasting your time. And number 3, leave some type of mystery about yourself. Do not sit there and be an open book. You don't have to sit there and tell her everything about you. Like, lock in. Do this to get her.
Okay, so wait, let's summarize. He said, don't be texting too much, don't be too available.
Be available.
Laugh when she tries to argue with you, because women love to argue. And what was number 3? Be mysterious. Have some mystery. Don't be an open book.
Which is kind of like being not over available.
Right. So the general thing is just don't be over available and don't let her get to you, I guess. In a general sense, I agree. Again, I feel like I'm going to keep going back to your point, which is you can take this to an extent that's too far, because he said, you know, she's wondering why I'm never available for her. At some point, if a guy is never available for me, we're done. I'm not going to like keep continuing to wonder like where you're going to be or when we're going to hang out or keep chasing you. There has to be, you know, 2 to tango type chase thing.
Exactly. Like you want to be perceived as busy, working on your own things. Like you can't just be at her mercy anytime.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it doesn't mean to flake. It doesn't mean not to make plans. It doesn't mean try not to see her or make any time for her at all.
Right. Yeah. And the same thing with the arguing. You know, like if she's coming to you with a valid concern, I wouldn't laugh at her face if and say she's trying to like start an argument, because women love to argue. But be safe. Again, I was talking about those women who try to test you and they will just try to push your buttons to see where your boundaries are as a man and how masculine you are. And in that case, you have to be a really good read on that to sort of set the record straight. And maybe then you can laugh.
Definitely. Maybe not straight up laugh, but I would say be unbothered. If there is an issue, be unbothered, be ready to solve the problem.
Unbothered is best.
And then the last one was
mystery.
You know, this past weekend, I had a guy come up to me, and I thought he was great with his approach. Handsome, complimented my dress.
Okay, so the approach was a compliment.
Yeah, the approach was a compliment. He was direct and was like, would love to take you to dinner. I have like a great Italian restaurant that I like to go to. Great. Gave him my number. Within maybe an hour, because I was out on a Saturday night, he texted me and said, oh, like, what are you doing? How's the party that you're at? And I was like, why are we having a conversation right now? Like, kind of gets away the mystery. And then he proceeded to be like, well, we're at this club. Like, you should come. And I'm like, we kind of like vaguely made plans to go on a date and now you like want to see me right now. Like, to me, that's so, it's giving a little thirsty, a little irritating, and definitely not giving mystery.
Oh, so he was too eager.
Too eager.
Yeah, I guess, yes, especially since he set it up with the specific date that he wanted, and then to sort of jump the gun on that and try to get something sooner. Even more so than being eager, it screams a little F-boy to me. Like, you got a number and you just simply could not wait. You had to hit her up that night and tell her to come to a club.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's giving F-boy. And we love F-boy Island, so we...
We do love F-boy Island.
We know an F-boy when we see one sometimes.
I won't even make a move tonight, I swear.
Do you think?
Sometimes we get tricked. Okay, another one. What women consider high value. So many conversations about what's high value these days. Let's watch.
I feel like a lot of guys don't understand this, and it leads to them all feeling a bit insecure about themselves. So if you want to be this high value man, that doesn't mean you have to be some entrepreneur chasing a $100 million company. As far as what women want from you, whatever you're doing with your time, your work, your job, they just want you to have a direction/path. Like, yeah, I know where I'm headed with this. Like, I am aware of that. And the second thing is, they want you to enjoy it, to have like a good time doing what you're doing. Or even if you're suffering with intention. Like, I'm going through this 6 months to get the promotion that's at the end of it. Like, it all routes back to, I have a plan, I know where I'm going, versus, I don't know, work sucks, job sucks, money's okay. Your girl wants to be able to tell her friends, yeah, this is what my man does, and he's good at it. That's it. It's not too complicated. Even if you have a very high salary, if you get annoyed talking about work and it's very unfulfilling and it just makes you grumpy, bro, women aren't going to be around that. I'm not going to want to be around that. Frankly, nobody is. So it completely cancels out the high salary if it makes you a miserable prick. I feel like...
I think that's very good advice.
Yes, we'll give that a little... Oh, is that a golf clap?
Golf clap.
Yeah, no, I think that's so true. A lot of men think the best thing I can do is just like make a ton of money, even if I'm super upset with what I'm doing or whatever. And then you bring that energy home, and women don't want that. They just want somebody who has direction and drive in anything. You could be like, I'm working at McDonald's, but I'm in a manager position. I'm going to move up and eventually I'm going to own a franchise. And I'll be like, okay, hell yeah. Awesome. That's great. That's dope. I'm glad that you like what you do.
And it just goes on, like, people like happy people. So if you're miserable with what you're doing, then you're not happy and it's rubbing off on them and they don't want to be around that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of men think that they can just cover that up with like money and status and maybe owning material things, and that will get you a woman. And I think generally that is true. You'll get a certain type of woman, though.
Yes.
Yeah, get somebody who loves that you love what you do. Whatever it is.
Should men open up about their struggles to their partner?
Generally speaking, the answer is no. And if you are going to open up about your struggles to your partner, you have to be very particular in how you do it as a man. You can't be bringing a sense of, I am overwhelmed and I don't know what to do and I don't know how to get out of this to your partner, because that's going to put her in a very unsafe, anxious space. So state your emotions, and when you do so, make sure to communicate that you've still got it handled, you're going to get through it, and everything is going to be okay in the end. Totally okay to share it, but do so from a place of, I've got this, not a place of everything is too much for me to handle and I need you to take care of me. If you want more effective communication techniques for your wife, read the caption below.
Should men open
I love how it's like it can be a good piece of advice, but then every single time they're trying to like sell you something or get you to jump off to another platform. But anyways, how do you feel about this one?
I agree. I definitely agree with him to a certain extent. I mean, I hate to say, like, don't show weakness, don't show your neck. But I think a woman wants to know that their man will be able to handle any situation, any problem that comes their way. And it's not saying that you should never share when you're frustrated or when you need to vent with your partner. I think all of that is completely okay. But it's sort of like if you're letting something eat at you a way that you can't solve it, I think it kind of emasculates you.
Okay, so it's the can't part that really is driving in. Yeah, I'm like thinking of the J. Cole lyrics, there's beauty in the struggle, okay? There's beauty in the struggle, but you have to be going through the struggle to get to the other end of it. So I think it's okay to share that process and be like, here are some of the hangups I'm having in my journey to get from A to B, but I'm going to get to B. And even if it's soliciting her help in some way, shape, or form, saying like, we are going to get there, or like, I'm going to achieve this at some point, but I might need your help in this aspect. That's totally cool. I get what you're saying though. If it's just a struggle session and he's saying like, I can't do it, or I'm not gonna make it through this, or whatever, I think if a woman really loves you, she's thinking, oh, that's a little weakness point right there.
Yes. And like, it's the same thing about being happy all the time. Like, you're letting that problem rub off on your partner when you're not looking at it in a positive light, or looking at it a bit like optimistic, like it's gonna be fine, everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, your problems are something like a challenge that needs to be overcome, not something that needs to like weigh you down and weigh your relationship down.
You're not ugly, and even the guys you consider ugly are not ugly. You're all just lazy. I truly believe that men underestimate how much better looking they can become if they just took better care of themselves. You can literally go from a 2 to a 7 by improving your grooming and your fashion, and from a 2 to a 9 by getting your body in excellent physical shape. And you have to understand that these changes are not superficial, but they're actually showing that you have respect for yourself and will cause people to respect you as well. Now, I just launched a glow up program that will help you transform your body, your fashion, your social, and your dating skills all at once. And if you want more information, just come.
Okay, I'm not going to the link in your bio for more information on how to get a gym membership. I swear, these guys will sell you an ebook, and the ebook is like, step 1, go to your local gym and, sign up for your monthly subscription.
It says nothing in it. Guys, the best advice is free. Like this channel.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We're not gonna sell you shit, okay?
You're welcome.
Okay. Totally agree. I think for any human being on earth ever, having a healthy body, for the most part, with like very few exceptions, is something that is achievable, but it's something that a lot of people just don't take the time to do.
Which I do understand. I think, and I follow a lot of incel accounts on X now, and I think they're just kind of in denial, or they're saying like, it doesn't even matter if I work out or become fit, like I still can't get women. But yeah, it just seems like most people aren't really trying, because if you look around, I mean, most people aren't fit.
No.
Just the majority of people, it's just not something that's incorporated into their life.
Yeah, and it's so powerful to do something that like is accessible to all, but people aren't choosing to do. I feel like whether or not you agree with this or not, if you are in a state of fitness as a man or a woman, as soon as you walk into a room, as soon as you are perceived by anybody, that's one of the first things that people notice is like, this person is super fit. And whether or not they consciously recognize it or not, those are points that you're gaining with people and respect that you're gaining with people just by walking in a room. So it's like a very powerful thing. There's this guy who on my other channel constantly is super chatting, and he's looksmaxxing, which is essentially what this guy's saying. Like, just do a glow up, work on your facial symmetry, go to the gym, eat healthy. And he every day like updates us on his looksmaxxing journey. And he's like, I went out to the club yesterday and I asked a girl to dance with me, and she said yes. There we go, King.
Yeah. And we were talking about this earlier. If you're in your early 20s, all of this really is it's a progression, whether like you figure out what your style is, what hair color looks best on you, what hairstyles look best on you, and then you become more confident over time.
Yeah,
too.
It's just slow and steady wins the race.
But I think the good advice here is just to care about it.
Yeah, regardless of like what it's going to bring you. Although it's always going to bring you like respect, I think, and prosperity. Okay. Other one.
Stop getting flaked on, do this instead. That is to start pre-qualifying a woman's high interest. You guys are going out with women who don't actually like you. It was clear from the start, you just missed the signals. The easiest way to pre-qualify interest levels is to ask questions and see if they're asking questions back. If she's just giving you statements like you're in an interview, she don't like you. Up next, you need to leverage your social media. No, you don't have to have a lot of followers or likes. You just need to have an attractive profile that shows you in different contexts, which will subconsciously build more more comfort and attraction with a woman before you go out on the date. Comment Insta and I'll send you my free high status IG manual that will immediately improve your Instagram.
Gosh.
Lastly, set the date between 1 and 4 days out. Anything past 4 days, too much can happen, including other men coming in the picture. If she's not available within 1 to 4 days, then likely she's not going to show up. Stop getting flaked.
Okay. There's a lot there, including another sale. Okay. The first thing I totally agree with, if somebody's not asking you questions back or isn't curious about you or your life when you're texting or is giving you one-word answers, dip. They're not interested. And if they are interested, they have a very strange way of showing it.
Yeah, and I've said this before, like FaceTime, especially if it's your online dating, FaceTime before you go on a date. Mm-hmm. See if they're asking questions back. See if there's any chemistry.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of gauge if they are just looking for a meal or something.
Yeah, and save yourself the time on that. What was the other one?
Instagram.
Okay.
So Alma and we understand that we're not like the other girls, but it's a green flag if you do not have Instagram.
Such
100%
a green flag. Yeah. My boyfriend now, when I met him, no social media. We didn't even talk about social media, but he did not have social media. Such a green flag. And a lot of women now, you tell them that, and they're like, oh my God, that's so creepy. That's so weird. Like, what is he hiding, you know?
Yeah. Most people want you to have an Instagram.
Yeah.
And I think his advice on just making your Instagram look like you and show that you have a life and you're traveling and you have friends, I think that is good advice.
Yeah, I guess so. I always have to like reel back what I actually think of like the modern time, and most people, I think like 80% of couples are built on the internet now. So it's like, okay, I guess social media is an aspect of that, and maybe I don't want to say I can't bring myself to say you need to have social media. I would say like if you're going to have it, especially as a man, keep it minimal, keep it friendly, keep it focused around your hobbies. Please do not give F-boy, like don't
just have a bunch of pictures of yourself. Like that's F-boy.
It's like the shirt's up, he's like a Rolex on his steering wheel or whatever. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
And men, I don't know if I should even give you this pro tip, but the women know when you're following the Instagram baddies. They know when you're following the Instagram hoes. Women will check your social media, check who you're following, check who's following you.
Check your tag, everything.
They will
check
check
everything.
We become detectives the minute that we find out who you are on social media. So just be wary, be careful. And I will say this, even though a lot of women may disagree, the biggest green flag is not having social media. You don't have the time. You're too busy hustling. You're too busy with your hobbies. You're too busy with your friends.
And that kind of adds to the mystery that all these men are saying you should have too.
Yes. Because I feel like girls will go out on a date with a guy and they know his whole life story before they've even sat down for the first dinner date because they've looked you up on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. They found YouTube videos from when you were 14 years old and you decided to post on YouTube. They find everything. And it takes away all the mystery of getting to know somebody.
Definitely.
Not fun. Did he say anything else?
The last part was set the date 1 to 4 days out. I think it's funny because he said if you don't, then another guy will slide in, and I'm like, it's really funny to me that guys like this think that women are just getting asked on dates all the time.
Right, like a revolving door or something.
Even in LA, that's not happening.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Like, maybe it's the girl you're going after. If you're going after, like, a girl who's, like, an IG model, maybe she's constantly got guys in the DMs.
Maybe.
Type thing. Yeah.
Like, I would say maybe the top 1% of women are. But, but the average really girl, no.
No, it's not valid. You always hear these rules, like for women, they'll say, oh, wait a couple days after the date before you text him if you're going to text him. Or like the 3-day rule was a thing that was circulating in all these different rom-coms or whatever. Just vibe it out, honestly. If she likes you, she likes you. If he likes her, he likes her. I don't know. Do you feel like there is a actual prescribed set of time you should wait after a date or after you meet somebody? Like that guy texted you a couple hours after meeting you. Obviously, let's not do that.
I think the next day is fine.
Yeah.
I actually think maybe a couple of days after is maybe like kind of weird. Mm-hmm. Like if you meet someone immediately, I would text them the next day and make a plan.
Yeah.
Or if you're just still wanting to get to know them, and before you take them out, call them, try to talk to them. I wouldn't say like text them a bunch, but try to call them.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of set a date. I don't think there's like, you can definitely fill that out a little bit.
100%. I think mainly this advice is helpful for people who haven't yet like stabilized reading social cues and vibing out people and reading them. Because if you don't know, then maybe you need like a little like diagram for when to do certain things.
I do nice guys always finish last, and girls always tend to be more attracted to men who are mysterious and have a bad streak in them. What women don't want is a man that they can manipulate. I think what they find attractive is a man who has boundaries. If a woman has never been told no before, and then all of a sudden she's dealing with a guy who has very clear boundaries, to her, it's going to seem like this guy is a bad guy. And if you see yourself as a nice guy and you get walked over, you consistently get put in the friend zone, you have a hard time getting the girl you want, what happens is, from your standpoint, the guys who are getting chosen, they seem like assholes, but they're not assholes. What they do is they have boundaries. Basically, when she reacts in a certain way, tries to pick a fight with him, he just ignores her. In reality, are there guys who are assholes who do well with women? Yes, but that's not the reason why. It's because they keep clear masculine boundaries and they don't let other people affect them. Why do nice guys...
Think about this.
It's one of those things like to the extreme, right? Because it's like, well, they tell her no.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm trying to think like, what would you have to tell her no?
I know. That's what I was thinking of. Like, when have I been encountered a man who's done that to me, and has that been something that's attractive? I don't know.
If I'm like, I want to go to eat here, I want to go to dinner here, and he's like, no, we're gonna go to dinner here. Like, is that what he means? Like, or he just means like if you're being argumentative and a guy's just like, I'm not going to deal with you right now. We're not going to fight right now.
I think it's the second one. Like, what I find often that these guys are talking about a very specific type of woman. Like, give her mystery, keep her waiting on you, don't be too available. I think this is like a certain type of woman that they're going for, who are maybe up there in like the pretty factor, but kind of want to test you a little bit and be a little toxic. Like the girls who try to pick a fight and say, well, like, let me go through your phone, I want to go through your phone or whatever. Yeah. And then you have to be the man who's like, babe, I didn't do anything. I'm setting a boundary. No. And then, she's subconsciously attracted to that sort of vibe.
Yeah.
Because maybe she's used to getting her way all the time, and you finally said, no, I respect myself too much to let you, like, run ragged.
Oh, like most women are not being told no. That's not true.
Right. I feel like...
Like, so like maybe that top 1% of attractive women are like never told no. So you kind of have to act like that to get those type of women.
That's what I'm thinking, because I'm trying to think of you and me. I can't think of even a fight that we would pick with somebody that we were dating to start out with. Like, what are y'all arguing about?
Yeah, I always wonder that.
Yeah, I'm like, we don't need to be told no. We're not doing any crazy shit to like the people we're dating. Very strange. I don't know. Yeah, but I think it's those more maybe prissy, pretty girls who like to test you a little bit.
Excuse me 2 seconds. You're really cute, so I had to come and say hi.
Hi.
My name is David. What's your name?
Fernanda.
Nice to meet you, Fernanda.
Nice to meet you.
That's the best way to start a conversation with beautiful women. Now, what you don't want to do is tell her, wow, you're so beautiful. Or you want to make up some cheesy pickup line. You have to have a simple opening line that you can use regardless of the context, as long as it's not a social circle that you can fall back on. Remember, the opener, the conversation starter, doesn't matter at all. No woman has ever gone into a relationship with a man because his opening line was so fantastic. Likewise, a woman has never not gone into a relationship with a man because his opening line was mediocre. As long as you don't say something that's completely weird, the opener doesn't really matter. It matters what happens afterwards, how you build attraction and connection. But that opener works extremely well. Excuse me 2 seconds.
Okay, pause. There's a lot there. Okay, I want to address the thing that a woman has never not gone out with a man because his opener was mediocre. I feel like that is incorrect. If you come with a mediocre opener, I think that can make or break your situation in a lot of ways, unless you're super attractive. Yeah. But if you're sort of sitting in that middle space where a woman doesn't know, your opener can really leave a bad taste in her mouth.
Yeah, because first impressions are everything, and if you can't show that you have a likable personality to this woman,
I can think of guys that have like walked up to you and like if they're Risa, if you do some specific things to Risa, okay, so like here we go. If you nag Risa in any way, shape, or form, and maybe that qualifies under his like weird thing, but like if you like grabbed their shirts to like talk to her or made a comment or grabbed her phone. We talked about guys who like to grab the phone on this channel before. Don't do it. Or if they come up and ask you like, what's your ethnicity? Where are you from?
That actually happened this last weekend too. They were French, but they were like, you look so exotic.
So are you Chinese or Japanese?
I live in California last 20 years, but first come from Laos.
Huh?
And then you're immediately like, that's mediocre. I can't deal with
Yeah.
that. I can't deal with that. So that's like, I think people would view that as a pretty common opener. But I think for a lot of women, actually, that's one that would be like, oh, I'm not interested in whatever's going to come out of this.
It's just very boring. I don't think you should ever comment on her physical looks when you walk up to a girl.
Right.
Especially like pretty girls, they get told all the time there's no physical comment that they haven't heard. So I would try to keep it a little bit more interesting and I would maybe even basic.
Yeah. And he says, use this comment, which is, you are so cute, I had to come and talk to you, regardless of the context of what's happening around you. I can't disagree with that more. I feel like implementing something from the context is actually way more powerful. It shows that you're like socially aware of where you are, commenting on the music that's playing and talking to her about that. Opening up with a random question that, maybe has something to do with where you are or has nothing to do with where you are can also be just really interesting to catch a woman off guard. I think walking up and saying, you're so cute, you're saying the part that does not need to be said out loud. If you're a guy who's walking up to a woman or even a woman who's walking up to a guy, you've already told him, I find you attractive. That's why you're there. That's why you're talking to them. So there's no need to restate you're so cute or you're so beautiful.
Definitely. And he says in another video, he was like, well, you could compliment this, or you could be like, do you like sweet potatoes? And to me, that's funny. It's kind of... It's random, funny. Like if somebody said that to me, I would definitely laugh. I'd be like confused, but I would still laugh and I would definitely answer the question.
100%. Even if you weren't attracted to the guy, you'd be like, why'd you ask me that?
Yeah.
What is going on there? So like he says, don't be weird. Obviously, don't be like weird, sexual weird, but you could be a little weird, a little fringe, like ask a strange question.
Just do it with confidence.
Just come up like you have a plan, even if you don't.
Texting no-nos for men. Number 1, double texting. Don't double text, meaning if you send a girl a text and she doesn't respond, don't send another text again. It's gonna be needy, and if she's not responding, she's not thinking about you, and she's probably not interested. Number 2, chit chat, having mindless chit chat, get to know you chit chat over text message, bad idea. Why aren't you doing this in person or at the very worst on FaceTime or over the phone? Don't be texting all day. It shows that you have no life and it's not the real way to connect with somebody. Number 3, the post-date text message. You don't need to send a text after a date. At the very worst, send a text the next day to set up the next date. You don't need to be texting her, hope you got home okay, hope we had a good time, etc. Number 3, you do not need to send a text after the date. I hope you got home okay, I hope you had a good time. Send her a text the next day, and on that text, try to actually ask her out and meet up again. We don't need more chit chat after the date. Number 4, hey, hi, hello, how are you? These are low value text messages, and that is going to be boring, and it's gonna, again, start the whole chit chat. If you're gonna text her something, either ask her out or send an update on something you're doing that's interesting. Number 5, teasing. Don't tease her or joke around on text because people read text message in their own voice and it can come off potentially strange and maybe offend her. Number 6, don't send those kinds of pictures. Texting no-nos for men, number 1.
Number 6 is definitely a good one. Don't do that. Yeah, I agree for the most part.
Yeah, I would say so. I think these are good, like, simple rules to follow. Obviously, if someone doesn't text you back, don't text them.
Yeah.
Maybe, or at least wait a while. But if you have a plan to see them again, then it doesn't really matter if they text back. So
Right.
your goal should always be to try to make a plan to see them again.
Yeah, do as much in person as you can. I will say on number 3, the post-date text, I would appreciate if I went on a date with a guy, him texting to make sure I got home okay. That's totally fine to do, and I think it's a very gentlemanly thing to do. Or as you're leaving for the date, put the ball in her court and say, text me and let me know when you get home, so that you're just being gentlemanly. You're showing that you have some intention of protecting this woman that you're courting or dating or whatever. And then if she doesn't text you that she got home, that's okay. You don't have to go and reach out, you know?
Yeah, I don't think it's that crazy to just be like, hey, I had a good time.
Yeah.
Like, even the night of.
Yeah.
I feel like I've mostly gotten that in my lifetime, and I didn't think it. I wasn't like, oh my god, why is he texting me already?
Right. That would never. If she had a good experience on your date and she's interested in you, you texting her after is not going to cancel that out. Definitely not. Everything else, yeah. Don't double text. Don't send the pics unless solicited to do so.
The chit chat. You know, I don't. This might be a mixed thing because I feel like some girls do like to chit chat. I think they like to be texted, and I personally don't. Like I like a text here and there, but I don't want to like talk about my day.
This is tough. I feel like you have to read this on the person you're with, or just straight up ask them, like, how do you feel about texting in between dates? Because some women will get to the night of a date and be like, you didn't text me throughout the entire week. You didn't ask how I was doing for 5 days. Why would I even go on this date with you? And then other women, if you text them during the week before the date, they're like, okay, well, I don't want to talk to you right now through text.
Yeah.
I want to wait for our moment. So honestly, just ask, be direct in that, and just say, how do you feel about, texting beforehand? Anything else, Risa? That was our final video.
Every piece of advice ties back to being comfortable and confident in who you are. And I think that maybe you won't overthink things as much, but I do think that a lot of young men need guidance, and I think they are confused sometimes. And so I do think some of this advice and some of these little Instagram gurus, I think it's kind of a good thing.
Yeah, as long as you can decipher what's good information and what's bad information, it's a good thing. I can imagine if you're a guy who's struggling to speak to women, which we spoke about on this channel, of like, there's a ton of guys who are saying like 50% of them in like their young 18 to 25 are just not walking up to women at all. I can imagine if you're looking into all this advice, you're going to hear so many different angles from so many different people. Like, I'm sure some of these guys maybe contradicted one another in this episode. So tough thing to decipher, but I think it's just trial and error.
Mm-hmm. And you'll get better.
Yeah, test it out, get rejected, get accepted, all these different things. Take it, on the chin, and hopefully it works out for you.
All right.
So what should people do, Risa, now that we've gotten through?
Like, subscribe, click the notification bell. I will also, on this video, let's ask for some video ideas.
Yeah. Let us know what you want us to react to next. If there's anything you're seeing on the internet that you feel like we should chime in on. Also, if you have your own dating advice for men, drop it in the comments down below, or things that have worked for you, for the men watching right now.
And the women, too.
Let us know, ladies. Let us know, gentlemen. And with that, we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.